Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Disc Makers. It's my pleasure today to show you how your vinyl records are manufactured. You may not be surprised to know that a vinyl record is made from vinyl. And the vinyl that we use comes in these little pellets. And it comes in these big totes. And this is pure virgin vinyl. So the way the process works is we start with a lacquer that is cut. This is a flat lacquer that at a mastering studio, when your music is played back, a stylus cuts the groove into the soft lacquer. And the lacquer then is dipped in a nickel solution, and the nickel is electroplated. So eventually the nickel adheres to the lacquer and it's peeled off, and the piece that's peeled off can become a stamper. This is a negative of the grooves. And this stamper gets mounted into a vinyl record press, which you'll see right here. So what happens is, at the vinyl press, there's a hopper that the vinyl goes into. There's a heating element, because the presses are fed with steam. There's a heating element that melts the vinyl. And then when the vinyl melts, there is a puck of vinyl that is extruded. So a puck of vinyl looks like this. It's a chunk of vinyl that is melted and soft, and that gets mounted. And you can see there's record labels that are going to go on either side of the press. So if you look over here, this is the mold cavity, and there's a stamper at the bottom and a stamper at the top. And you see the labels, the puck of vinyl's in the middle, and the mold closes, and it presses the record, and it takes about 30 seconds for the record to press and then cure and cool. Cool water runs through the die to cool off the vinyl, and then after about 30 seconds, it spits out a vinyl record. There's a little rough edge of some excess vinyl. That has to get trimmed off. And voila, there's a beautiful vinyl record coming off the press. So that's your record. These presses, as I mentioned, are fed by steam. You'll take a quick look here in the boiler room. This is a big, old school boiler. Look at that, you can see the flame heating up that boiler. You don't want to get caught in there. So, it's not just the pressing of the vinyl that gets really kind of like more like an art almost than like science. Also the labels, the record labels that we get that go on the record, believe it or not, the paper contains moisture, and we cannot just put those on the press because paper labels with moisture tend to crack when they meet the heat, the hot wax. And what we do to take the moisture out is we actually bake the labels. So this is actually an actual old pizza oven, and the labels are in there, and at medium-high temperatures, they bake for a while to get all the moisture out. And then from there, the labels go to the press. So as we roll and buy all the record presses, once we have finished records, the records have to get assembled. And that is done here at the assembly. You see a bunch of stampers here that have just been used. We retain those stampers for your reorders. And then there's a QC step where every record gets quality controlled. The center hole gets checked, and the records get sleeved by hand before they get sleeved in the jacket. So you can see a number of jackets here. So by hand, the records get sleeved and jacketed, and then from there, they go to the poly wrapper. And the records get feed into the poly wrapper. And eventually, you have your finished records that go into a carton and they get shipped right to you. Hope you found this helpful. See you next time.